I wanted to do a video about the 10 things that annoy me about the Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV. I've had the car now probably 6 months, and don't get me wrong, I love the car. There's a lot of things that I do like about it. I've got a very short commute to work, and it suits me really well. It's a very nice, smooth car to drive. I can get easily to work and back without even using half of the charge of the car. But this video isn't about what I like about the car, it's about what annoys me about the car. And hopefully someone from Mitsubishi may see this and address some of these issues in a future model. So first thing, number one, is the car will ping at you for no apparent reason. Driving along, it's only a single ping, but it will beep. There's no information on the dash at all. I've no idea why it does it. On some journeys it seems to do it in exactly the same place, on the same part of the journey. Doesn't seem to be fuel related or charge related. I can hit that same point with different amount of petrol, different amounts of electricity, and it will ping for no apparent reason. I've posted on forums and no one has yet been able to give me a good reason as to why the car pings or what it's trying to tell me. Number two, the radio misses up when it's cold. So this has happened on a few occasions now. It's a double DIN screen in the car, and the screen flips open so you can put a CD in. And in the back of the screen there's a small ribbon cable that goes into the back of it, and it looks like when you've got the air conditioning on, the air goes into the back of that screen and it causes you get a little misting spot in the middle of the screen. And that can take a good sort of half an hour for that spot to clear itself. Number three, the windscreen on the inside misses up quite bad. Doesn't have to be that cold. I mean, obviously all cars can mist up, but this is really bad. Sometimes you leave it for a couple of hours, you come back, you turn on the demist, and you have water running down the inside of the screen. It's as bad as an old convertible that I used to have. I don't know if it's an issue with the seals in the car or what, but for some reason it misses up more than most other cars that I've had. Number four, there's no lumbar support in the seats. So I'm 6'6", obviously quite tall, suffer from back issues like most tall people do. The electric seats, they move up and down, forwards and backwards, they tilt backwards and forwards, but there's no lumbar support, and there's no option for lumbar support either. So I've had to go out and buy a separate support for my back for long journeys. But in this class of car, it just seems incredible that there is no option for lumbar support. Number five, it doesn't remember the engine mode and the braking mode from when you've previously used the car. You switch the car off, turn the car back on again, and all the engine modes reset. So I personally like to drive the car for the majority of the time in eco mode and brake mode B0. I won't go into what those are now. If people are interested, happy to do another video on those. Every time I get in the car, it's the first thing I do, switch it to eco mode, switch it to B0 mode. I get out of the car, get back in the car, turn the engine back on. I have to set that up every time. It'd be nice in the options, or for it just to remember those settings, or have the ability for it to remember the last used settings. Number six, so the DAB radio signal is poor. I mean, it works, but the signal seems to have to be quite strong. So in a previous car that I had, I put my own DAB radio in. Didn't have a DAB aerial, so I went out to Halfords and bought a £14 magnetic stick on the roof aerial, and I get a similar amount of stations. I seem to lose the signal in the same places as what that £14 aerial gave me. The other car that we've got is a Ford Fiesta that also has DAB in. A lot stronger signal in there. Don't get half the dropouts that I get as in this car. So please, next time, sort out the DAB aerial. Number 7 is the ability to use my phone more with the car, especially around the maps. So the car comes with SatNav. It came preloaded with maps as it left the factory in 2016, but obviously as time goes by, roads get changed, they need updates. I think it's going to cost about £400–500 to get the maps updated if I wanted to in the car. I'm a big Google Maps user on my phone. It's always up to date, traffic information is really good on it, and it also finds points of interest a lot better than the car does. The car does support points of interest, but when I've searched for things in the past, it's not been as easy to find them in the car as it has been on the phone. And for some journeys, I'm ending up using my phone as a sat-nav, just purely because I'm concerned about the traffic, or I'm trying to go somewhere where I don't have the address, I just have the name of it. So please let me use Google Maps more with the car. Number 8 is around the build quality. So the build quality is not great, specifically around the paint. I don't know if it's just a poor quality of paint or they're just not putting enough layers on, but this car, more than any car that I've had, seems to mark very easy. So whether it's someone just brushing up against it or a stone chip on the bonnet, but the paintwork just marks so easy. And also inside as well. Inside is nice, but it just seems that they've cut corners around some of the finishing in the car. Number 9 is I would like more override options. So by all means, have an easy mode for people that want to get in the car and just want to drive it and don't want to worry about any of the settings. But you know, it's an electric car. People typically are going to buy this car are people that want to play a bit more, that want to get a bit more into it. And one of the things that annoys me at the moment is, as it's quite cold, when I get in the car, if I want to put the heating on, if the outside temperature is below a certain temperature, and I think it's about 6 to 8 degrees, as soon as I put the heater on, the engine kicks in. Now for me that's doing a short commute, and I brought the car because I want to do the commute on electric only, absolutely pointless in having the engine on. So if I wanted to heat the car up, almost by the time I get to work, the engine then kicks off because the car's nice and warm and it doesn't need to heat it anymore. But I've just done my whole journey on petrol when I want to do it on electric. Yes, I understand that having the heater on is going to use more electricity. Not a problem. Don't force it. Let me have an override option that says, yes, I understand it's going to use more electricity and I just want to heat the car on electric only. But it's having that extra level of control around some of the options that just isn't there. But at the moment, I'm having to preheat the car in the morning when it's plugged in on charge. That works, and then I get in the car, there's temperature in the car. I'm having to use things like the heated steering wheel, heated seats to keep me warm during the journey, because I daren't put the heating on, otherwise I'm going to start to use petrol and that defeats the object of having this car. So the last one, number 10, is the reversing cameras. So the cameras themselves are really good. The car's got one in the front, it's got one in the back, it's got one under each wing mirror. And they work well, and they also give you a pseudo top-down view. So it's almost like someone's flying a drone above your car and you can see a bird's eye view of your car and what's around it. And it does that by building an image from all the cameras, and that works really well. But I want reversing sensors. If I'm paying attention to the screen and I'm reversing, great, cameras work well. But for that one occasion where I'm reversing and I'm not looking at the screen, or I've missed the little post that I'm just about to bump into, why can't I have both? Why can't I have a rear camera and rear sensors? And And if not everyone wants that, then have an option to turn the sensors off. So if people don't want it to be beeping when they're reversing, have an option to turn it off. But for people like me, where that 1 in 1,000 time where I've missed that post and I am reversing, those beeps are going to save a very expensive dent in the bonnet, in the bumper, sorry. And that's it. That is my 10 things that annoy me about my PHEV, and I hope that they sort out in a future release. The only other thing to add is, I guess, 2 quick nice to haves. Nice to haves would be seat memory positions. So yeah, it's electric seat, you can adjust it, beautiful, but there's no memory. I mean, surely to have a couple of buttons where you can preset just at least 2 settings, so every time I get in the car or my wife gets in the car, we don't constantly have to adjust the seat. We can just have a his and hers button, and it remembers this. I mean, surely the cost of having that must be minuscule. And the other one is USB in the back. So the car does have a cigarette lighter. It has a USB in the armrest, but it's where you need the armrest down, and you can trail a cable through, and it is a bit of a pain if the kids want to plug a charger in. It would be a lot nicer if the USB was on the back of the console, so they can plug it in themselves without having to disturb me and lift up the center console. So rear USB charging would be awesome. And that's it. Appreciate, there's going to be probably a lot of feelings about this, but hopefully there's a lot of people with similar annoyances. I'd like to hear what annoys you about your PHEV as well. And if there's anything in particular that you want to know about the PHEV, then please ask, and hopefully I'll be able to go into it in more detail. Thank you for watching.